Joining us now, Rich Rubino, political analyst, author of the Great American Political Trivia Challenge, friend of the program. Rich, it's always good to have you. So
Sure.
Let's start in Maine. Troy Jackson, now the new nominee to face sitting Senator Susan Collins. How tight of a race do you see this being now, and how might the way Jackson was selected, the time also he has to run a campaign, factor in to your answer as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think it's going to have that much it's going to factor in all that much just because it was done so early. I think voters have very short memories. I think that if you look at the polls right now, Troy Jackson actually has a very slim lead over Susan Collins, and obviously voters know how he was chosen. They know what happened in terms of Graham Plattner. In terms of how close this race really is and how important it is, I think this is really the flagship race in the United States Senate. Susan Collins is the only Republican defending a seat that last time went for Vice President Harris, and Vice President Harris won by about 6 points. So it's extremely important. It's very critically important for the Democrats if they want to take control of the United States Senate. They have to upend Susan Collins, who's been winning elections in a relatively Democratic state all the way since 1996.
And we heard Jackson there coming out of the gate swinging. What do you believe are Collins's vulnerable areas? Where will he be attacking, and how will she counter?
Well, you're going to hear this ad nauseum, what Troy Jackson just said in his speech there in Bangor. He said that Susan Collins voted with Donald Trump 96% of the time. Now, Susan Collins is going to say that she's independent-minded, that she's looking out for Maine, that she's putting Maine first. Troy Jackson is going to just repeat that over and over and over again. He's really going to kind of double down on that. The other thing that he's going to try to run on, I think, in terms of Troy Jackson, he's going to say that he's very populist. He's somebody who's been elected actually in very Republican territory in the state Senate. Aroostook County is not like the rest of Maine. It's the northern part of Maine. It's a very conservative part of Maine. And he's somebody who is very populist, but he's somebody who's been able in the past to get Republican votes. The question is, will Susan Collins be able to get some of the more independent-minded votes? And the other thing Jackson will bring up many times is the fact that she voted for Brett Kavanaugh. She was a deciding vote for Brett Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court. Brett Kavanaugh, who later ruled to upend the Roe v. Wade decision.
Right. Oh, we have about 30 seconds left, but I want to ask you, Rich, Michigan is another major player in the midterms, too. Yep. All eyes on this Democratic primary, and whether Michigan Democrats choose a more establishment candidate in Haley Stevens or a more progressive candidate in Abdul El-Sayed. Who do you see as having a better chance ultimately of winning this seat in a race against Republican Mike Rogers, and why?
Well, I think Haley Stevens, who has the endorsement of Governor Gretchen Whitmer, potentially could appeal to a cross-section of constituencies, including independents and disaffected or moderate Republicans. But that being said, her opponent can appeal to the progressive left, and she can bring out many voters, many Bernie supporters, many AOC supporters from the left. So it's really a matter of where you get the voters. Do you try to just simply galvanize and energize your base, or do you try to reach a broad cross-section of constituencies of independent voters? So they both have, I think, different game plans, and I think that they both can essentially be very effective at keeping the seat currently occupied by Senator Gary Peters.
Yeah, well, we'll see who gains more ground in that one. Rich Rubino, always a pleasure. Thank you, Rich.
Indeed. Great to see you again.
Great to see you.